African Safari Wildlife Park is a wild experience with over 800 exotic animals. Our drive-through safari features giraffes, zebras, deer, elk, alpacas, and even a white bison, all of which you can feed right from your vehicle. Walk on the wild side with a Zoo It All Pass and feed kangaroos, porcupines, tortoises, and rabbits. Step into our aviary adventure and hand feed budgies for a memorable experience. Check out our live educational shows or ride a camel. Create memories that will last a lifetime at the Ohio Safari Park, African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton.
Video and it will be posted.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Thursday edition, the Thursday Jackson County Fair edition of the morning show right here on Main Street TV. And, of course, Jennifer here to start off our morning. And this is Thursday, which means our good friend Pete Wilson is here to do the morning news update. And, of course, that's brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. And if you're looking to buy or sell or have any real estate needs, please give Nia a call, 740-418-4135, and she'll work hard for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, very good. We are loaded down with news.
Lots and lots of stuff to talk about.
We do have the fair, but life goes on outside those fairgrounds, too.
It does.
And so, we're trying to keep up. We're breathless, as a matter of fact, trying to keep up with it. But so let's get right into it. And the number one issue in the Jackson City School District, without a doubt, is the topic of mask wearing.
Yeah.
Course, right, exactly. The school, of course, is starting in mid-August, so we're just about a month away.
Yeah, believe it or not,
and
kids,
so,
a month away.
Right, so all the school districts, remember how the school year ended all over the place. Some places were even online mostly, or completely online in the cities. That was controversial. But in most of the school districts, people were in school, but there were, high restrictions on how things were operated, and particularly the topic of masks. Students and staff had to wear masks inside, and everybody understood that, even though things were starting to get better as the school year ended.
Right.
I think that there was an assumption by a lot of people, because, the cases have declined greatly here into the summer months.
It's not even in the news anymore.
That we would be maybe back to normal, to start the next school year. So the school districts, the boards and all, right now it's a local decision. They have had to decide how they're going to do it. Or is there going to be masks? Is there not going to be masks? Is it going to be something in between or whatever? Well, the Jackson City Board of Education addressed that very important issue at a special meeting on Tuesday evening. Mm-hmm. And everybody was not on the same page on the leadership side. Superintendent Phil Howard, and I know this was a hard decision for him. He tried to weigh everything. He ended up making the recommendation that the students and the staff continue to wear masks, as they did through the last school year into this school year. That means inside the building, on the buses and all like that, we're wearing masks.
Okay.
All right. They met in executive session, which means it was a closed door thing, and that may or may not have been a topic, but that was the first thing. After they came out of the executive session, one of the things that they voted on was the mask policy. And there's 5 school board members. 3 of them voted to support Superintendent Howard's recommendation that the mask wearing continue as it was last school year.
Okay.
2 voted against that. So 3-2, the mask won out. Board members Brian Moore, Pat McDonald, and Alice Smith voted in favor of Superintendent Howard's recommendation. I don't know whether they feel that they feel strongly in favor of the mask, or they're supporting the superintendent on a decision that could go either way. But board members Kim Harless and Dr. Brian Morris voted against that. And we know just from posting our story on our website, on social media, it hasn't been in the paper yet because of when the meeting was, but we know just from what we've seen out there electronically that, I'm sure maybe, what you've heard in and about town, because I know you run the restaurant, you have people in and out of the restaurant. I know that a lot of people are talking about it. Mm-hmm. And of course, anytime a decision is made, the folks that it goes against or who disagree, they're going to be very vocal. And I think there's been a lot of that. A lot of people, I think a lot of people were taken by surprise that
I think you're right.
That the masks are still in place.
Well, and I think, I talked to a few parents yesterday, and I don't have a dog in the fight, so I just listen,
Mhm.
you know, but I think a lot of parents were really dreading having to tell their kid that they were going to have to wear a mask.
Right.
Because,
Mhm.
you know, I think they thought it was over with.
Right, they did, and of course, you know, there's been all the information that has been put out that you know, kids do better on COVID-19 than older people.
Sure.
Meaning that if they have it, it's asymptomatic. They don't get very sick. And of course, the record of our local school districts, including the Jackson City School District, I thought was fantastic.
Yeah, I
this
mean,
past school year, you know, I'm not
we
sure
did
how many
pretty well.
cases there turned out to be, but you know, it wasn't enough that they had to think about closing the schools down or whatever. Give everybody credit. Give all of our school districts credit for the great lengths they went to make it as safe as possible. We should never
Yep.
get lost in that. So we come around to this decision, and I know that Phil Howard doesn't want to do the mask any more than anyone else. I'm sure of that.
No.
But right now, he pointed out in making his decision that some of the local folks who were talking felt like the mask should continue. He mentioned comments from Dr. Stephen Owen, Dr. Marla Hauer, Jackson County Health Commissioner Kevin Aston. Some of the things they said pointed
Sure.
him in that direction. Also, right now, the Centers for Disease Control and the American Academy of Pediatrics are both recommending, not dictating, they're both recommending that students and staff return to school wearing the mask. So from Superintendent Howard's point of view, I think without putting words in his mouth, here's what he's saying. We'd rather be safe than sorry. We hate to do
I get
this.
that.
We need to start out the school year this way. And he points out how successful it was last year doing this, as much as everybody hated to do it. And COVID-19 is not completely gone.
No.
There's a concern about the variant, you know, that we've heard about, a concern that there may be
Sorry.
that the cases could increase when the weather gets colder.
Yep.
So
Right back to it
so
again.
there is a basis, and I'm not trying to make a statement of support either way, but there's a base. That's the
Yeah.
basis of the decision that the superintendent and the majority members of the board made. On the other side, of course, you know, there's the basis that it doesn't seem to affect kids. The cases are way down.
All the teachers have been
And
vaccinated.
if you look around in our world now, people are not wearing masks. So
Yeah.
why do we have to do it in the schools? So, you know, that's coming from the other side.
Let me ask you this, Pete, and this was a question posed by a couple of parents yesterday that were in the restaurant that were concerned about, you know, just talking about it. I mean, no one was throwing a fit one way or the other, but it was certainly a topic of conversation. Is it like for sure the whole year? Is this something that they're going to say, okay, well, maybe the first month we're going to do this and then we're going to revisit it as the year rolls on? Did they address that at all? Because that was the one question I got asked, and I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know for sure either, but I would almost bet, Jennifer, it's a fluid situation.
Yeah, I would think so too.
You know, when Phil mentioned, Superintendent Howard mentioned, the recommendations from the health experts, including the CDC, which is the top federal health agency.
Sure.
And when they're saying that you should do this, even if they're not telling you you have to do it, and you're in a position of responsibility, I mean, you're kind of listening to that. You're kind of saying, oh, no, but you're thinking, should I go against the health experts? That doesn't mean that the health experts all agree. That doesn't even mean they're necessarily right in the long run. You find out as you go along. But Pat McDonald, who is the board president now, one of the things that he pointed out was, it did go very well last year in the schools. And if wearing the mask will keep students and staff safe or safer than they would have been without the mask, and it worked last year, shouldn't we maybe continue it this year? And also, one of the things he pointed out are just because students don't get very sick, or even if they get it, they're asymptomatic, remember, they are carriers. They
Sure.
can infect older people, including adult staff members at the school that are more vulnerable to the COVID-19. So it's like the mask, everybody agrees, well, not everybody, but most people I think would acknowledge that the mask probably
Yeah,
help. Right. It's
for
just
sure.
how much they help and are they needed now. And so if that's the case, maybe we should continue to do it, because no place that I know of in our county are there going to be more people together in one place than in our schools.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the thinking. Now, that being said, the Oak Hill Union Board of Education met last night, and it was announced by Dr. Marcy Shepard, their superintendent, that they will not be wearing, the full-scale masks in the school, students and staff. From what I understand from Trevor Bailey, our young intern who covered that meeting for us, he did a great job. That was his first solo job covering a school board meeting. He told me that the students and staff will have to wear them when they're on the buses, and they'll be doing all sorts of precautions inside the buildings to make sure they're clean and sanitized and all like that. They're still going to do all that stuff. But as far as inside the building,
the classroom,
inside the building in the classroom, people will not have to be wearing the mask. However, if they want to wear the mask for their own sense of safety, they can certainly do that. They're not told that they have to not wear the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what the decision has been, or if a decision's been made in the Wellston or Vinton County local school districts. As of this time, we've not heard about any policy that's been announced or passed. But you would think that those decisions would be made very soon with the coming school district year happening in the middle of August.
Yeah.
So a related issue in the Jackson City schools that have also gained a lot of attention at this last special meeting, but at the last regular meeting, our new probate juvenile judge, Justin Skaggs, went to the board meeting. That was his second board meeting. And he is addressing the issue of truancy, of course. That's one of the things that he works with the schools on.
Yes.
And truancy, there is Justin Skaggs at the school board meeting. This is his first year, of course, replacing the retiring Judge Stephen Michael. He is very concerned of the failure of many of the students to address their schoolwork when they've been online. Almost every education expert, including our local folks, believe it's much better to be in school. It's just, how safe is it to be in school? And if students and parents want to have their students go online because it's safer, they tried to set it up so that could be done. And up to 20 to 25% did that.
Yep.
At the worst of the pandemic. But Justin Skaggs went so far as to say that the performance of the students, not just in the Jackson City School District, but all over the county, on the younger levels, elementary and middle school, and he addressed middle school specifically at this meeting, he went so far as to request the Jackson City Board of Education not to offer online education to middle school students.
Okay.
Now, in Jackson, I know this much, Phil Howard, the superintendent, really is leaning hard on the school board not to do it at the elementary level. He feels that just doesn't work at all.
Sure.
And the middle school is iffy. Now, Judge Skaggs has come in and said, the number of people that are just not doing the job on online, plus you got to admit it would be harder to learn that way anyway.
It would be.
But apparently a lot of these students, without the support of their parents or whatever, they're just not doing their schoolwork online the way it was set up. Everybody had to fly by the seat of their pants when all this was set up in the first place, and that's hard.
Right.
But they just didn't do the work. They took advantage of the situation of being at home. Some of them did. So that decision has not been made yet, but it could very well go that way. You don't want to totally say that online education is out because you don't know when you might need it. You don't know. I'm sure there are students and parents out there that were very serious about their online education, but they were also concerned about their students' health and says, I don't want my child around 1,000 other students, when this pandemic's going around. We can learn at home. Schools, you need to provide this. And schools knew that, and they did. I don't think it worked out as well as they had hoped.
No. Well, this is the thing, if you have a grade schooler or a middle schooler, you better be having a parent at home to be the teacher. Yeah, they can't do the work on their own. We all know that.
This is where the problem. This is where the parents have to step in and make sure that work is done.
Not too many people have that luxury because they're at work every day.
Right.
And so unless you have a full-time tutor or a full-time teacher to help that child along the way. Now, high schoolers, they can be on their own.
Mhm.
Let's just admit they can be on their own. If they, that's up to them. They're adults. And,
Right, and I think that
you
the
know,
online
whatever, but-
education will probably still be offered at the high school level
Sure.
for that very reason that you stated. The students are old enough and they should be mature enough to know what
But the
they
little
need
ones,
to know what they need to
not
do.
so much.
Right, and the communication barrier I think would be there for the online, for the younger the kids are.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, perhaps there's a problem at the middle school level too. Maybe not as much as at the elementary.
And
but-
listen, every truancy case, then Judge Skaggs gets before him.
Mhm.
So, he can't be a full-time truancy judge. Like, he has a lot of other things to do besides
Right, and I
that.
don't think
and
Yeah,
that can't be his whole life.
No, and I know that made it much harder for him, but I think what he's thinking of is the good of the kids.
Sure.
The good of the kids. They're not getting educated this way,
Sure.
the way they should. And so with the great reduction in COVID-19 cases, I think he felt comfortable saying, I don't think you should do this at all for the younger kids.
How was that received?
I think it was received pretty positively. I mean, you're talking about an authority figure speaking who is
Yeah.
looking out for the welfare of the kids, and he is doing the follow-up work with them, seeing why they're not doing their work. So he is getting insight into why they are failing, and
Okay.
he has decided that it's really not how it's set up. It's just not working on the receiving end.
Sure. Okay.
And that's the bottom line. All right, another story that came out of that special school board meeting Tuesday night in Jackson was the hiring of a new assistant principal. And
Ooh.
that is somebody we all know, young man a little bit ahead of you in school, Doug Wooten.
Uh-huh.
No,
Oh,
you're-
no, he's behind me
behind
in
you.
school.
I'm
Chad
sorry.
I graduated with.
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
His
You're-
brother.
You're early 90s. I'm going to give you
Bless
a
your heart, Pete. I love you, though.
Okay,
For saying that.
All right, Doug Wooten is late 90s.
Yes.
He's the class of 1998.
Yeah, he's a few years.
And Doug was hired as the new assistant principal. Ever since he came out of Ohio University, he's been a social studies teacher, football coach, track coach, done a lot for the schools, very well liked. And his opportunity to become administrator was presented by the fact that Tyler Swackhammer, who had been the assistant principal, was
Yes.
promoted to principal when Thad Haynes resigned to take another education position. Thad had been the principal the last 6 or 7 years, it seems like. I think it was that long. But anyway, opportunity and transition for Doug Wooten, and he has moved up and will be the
Oh,
assistant
there he
principal.
is.
And there he is. Lived across the street from me for years, so I know the young man.
That's right. I didn't think about that.
I know,
yeah.
I know the young man very well. And just a sideline on Doug, I know that he was a great teacher, but he also gained some notoriety because he was a pretty good football lineman at Jackson.
Yes.
He went on to start at Ohio University.
Now that's saying
I
something.
believe he might have been a walk-on to start with. That's where they said, you got to prove me that you're
That's-
good enough.
It's
Well,
twice as hard.
He not only was good enough, he ended up being a starter. He played against the Ohio State Buckeyes at Ohio Stadium one year. He had that thrill.
That's awesome.
All right, so congratulations to him, and that's all the news from the schools. We'll be watching to see what everybody does on the mask policy, and we'll see
Yeah.
if any of this fallout that is coming from the decision in Jackson. We'll see if that moves anybody. Remember the force of politics.
Sure.
It does matter. It does matter. Sometimes maybe it shouldn't, but it always matters what most people think,
well,
especially when
it-
they speak out.
It absolutely does. And I would love for the school board to not say, this is just my opinion, this is a definite thing for the whole school year. It would be nice if they would say, you know what, we're going to go a month or a quarter or something.
Right.
Then we're going to revisit it, see where we're at.
Well,
and
I think it's safe.
we'll consider.
I think that they
other
see
options.
the cases, they see what the recommendations are,
Yeah.
they see what the requirements are, all like that. But I think that in the Jackson City School District, the situation it certainly could change depending on how things go. But right now, one of the things is that you have to remember for all the folks who are upset right now. This is what the science says, when you don't wear a mask, it isn't just about your rights, it's about the person within
Sure.
6 feet of you.
Right.
So, or close to you. And you've seen different things on that, on how the spread is done. So it's not as simple as just your rights. It really isn't.
Correct.
All right. Okay. Yesterday, we regret to to report that there was a fatality-related crash in the county.
Oh no.
It occurred Wednesday morning about 11:13 a.m. on Slab Hill Road. That's a township road off 279, State Route 279, west of Oak Hill. The Highway Patrol put out preliminary information. We don't have the name of the victim right now. Because it was under investigation, they chose not to release that important bit of information. But it was a two-vehicle wreck involving a pickup truck and a car. The car reportedly went left to center. The driver of the car was declared dead at the scene.
Oh no.
So we'll be looking for more information on that as well. Excuse me. All right. Elsewhere yesterday, this was very important. In Vinton County, there was a dignitary there, and that was Appalachian Regional Commission co-chair Gail Manchin. We talked about that on Monday.
That's right.
On Tuesday, we talked about that. But anyway, Mrs. Manchin, who is the wife of United States Senator Joe Manchin, who's in the news quite often, she came. Thank you,
Jenna.
Jenna gets another gold star.
She does get the gold star.
And I'm only halfway through the pile, so this is important.
She was on the run, man.
Pause to refresh.
That's a lot of talking, Pete.
Thank you. Anyway, Gail Manchin made two stops that we know of yesterday in our local area.
Okay.
And the first one was in Vinton County, in western Vinton County, at the Goose Creek water vending station. And the reason that she came there is the fact that there is not a source of public water in some of the higher elevation areas in western Vinton County. The county commissioners there and other local officials, health officials, have pushed to somehow get public water through there. One of the problems is it's expensive to do. It's a remote area. There's elevations that makes it more expensive to do. You spread the line out, it costs more money. And even though, you get grants for this, you still have to usually have some local money. Well, Gail Manchin was there to see what the problem was, to see people come to the water vending station, see what they have to do just to have water to drink, where they live there in the western part of Vinton County. Our James Hamilton was there to do a video. We're going to see a little bit of that video.
We are.
Here at the tail end of the show, and that video is going to be posted on our Telegram and Total Media Facebook pages immediately after the show, so you can see it that way too.
Right.
Later at your own leisure, or see it again. Later in the day, Mrs. Manchin was at Bellisio Foods.
Oh, okay.
And she was there to review, I understand, the plant's drug recovery policy. And this is a policy, a plan that they have in line that helps them, and it helps their employees who are dealing or might be dealing later with drug-related problems.
I see.
It keeps them working. It helps them beat the drug scourge, and it gives Bellisio Foods a continued source of employees, and they don't have to worry about absenteeism, about people not being able to work, being terminated because they can't do their job or won't do their job. And so this is a very proactive, progressive thing that Bellisio is doing, and ARC co-chair Gail Manchin heard all about that yesterday. Now, our Red Thompson Jr. was up in Vinton County, as he often is, covering the news. He'll be covering the water line story in one component of the coverage, and the other component from Bellisio Foods, our Trevor Bailey, was there for that as well. So we'll be looking forward to having those stories in the next several editions of the Telegram. And do not forget the video that James has done. We'll be seeing here in just a little bit. That'll give you some real insight into why Gail Manchin came all the way from Washington to western Vinton County.
I mean, that's saying something.
It is. And, whenever you have somebody who is the head of a federal commission there, you talk about letting them know firsthand what the problems are. I think maybe you set yourself up for maybe some help.
Yes.
We'll see.
You hope so.
We'll
Fingers
see.
crossed.
Right.
Definitely.
See, now we've made it to the Jackson County Fair finally.
Yay!
But at the Jackson County Fair, we talked on Tuesday about the first day of the fair. Well, on the second day of the fair in the Joe Morgan Memorial Show Arena, there was sheep in the morning. Later in the day, there were goats.
Yes.
And then yesterday, beef on the hoof all day. There was beef shows. There was lots of winners to report on. We're going to have those names on the Telegram, on our website. We'll have pictures, of course, after the livestock sale. But all that was happening Tuesday and Wednesday. On Thursday, tomorrow. No, today is Thursday. Okay. Today on Thursday, there will be chickens in the show arena early, and then there will be swine later on. Swine or hogs, by the way.
The piggies.
Right, exactly. They'll be later on, and that will complete the animal shows. The horse competition is not until Saturday morning. And on Friday, there'll be two very important junior fair activities that are kind of like the highlights of the week.
Yep.
The Showman of Showman competition will be in the morning. That's where all the showmanship winners from the week, and this is not where, they judge the animal, but they judge how the owner and the handler of the animal handles that animal. All those showmanship winners will compete against each other, and what they'll have to do is show other species that they're not used to.
Yeah, and it's terrifying.
Right. So I mean, if you have shown a horse, you might not have been around a hog your whole time.
Correct.
And you're trying to squire, that porker around.
You've got to learn how to show all of the animals, and not only that, they grill you on questions.
Exactly. About what makes a good hog. And all
like name 5 types of rabbits, and like the whole thing. You're like,
I've always felt like the hog showmanship winners had an advantage because he or she knows how to do the hog.
Yeah.
But that's the only animal you don't show, I believe, at the Showman of Showman contest. You show all the others that you don't have.
Yeah.
I think that's how that works. But anyway, that is Friday morning. On Friday afternoon and evening, because it's long, will be the Junior Fair Livestock Auction. It starts at 3 o'clock, but all the animals, all the market animals that were judged during the week, they will be sold in a live auction. Mm-hmm. Plenty of opportunities to help those kids hopefully get above market prices for their animals. It's a reward. It's an emotional time, too, because it is. It's very hard. It's triumph to sadness because, you do get attached to your animals.
Of course you do.
But anyway, the Demolition Derby will be on Saturday night. That'll be the big thrill show.
Are you going to be in it?
I'm not going to be in the Demo Derby.
Pam is.
No, she's not going to be in the Demo Derby either. No.
Man.
No, we're going to be doing something else, but I think everybody else will be there from what I've heard.
Yeah, I think the entire county picks up and moves to the Jackson County Fair for the Demolition Derby.
Tonight will be the truck and tractor pull. On Friday night, Fast Tracks Motocross. Yep. All this is the main grandstand activity.
Yep.
But I was told by Fair Board people that the Demo Derby is still the king. And it is now the Brent Jenkins Memorial Demolition Derby in honor of the late Brent Jenkins, former Fair Board member who passed away over a year ago. So that's how the fair looks. We want to, do a little promo. We've been covering the fair all week. A lot of the coverage will spill over into next week because of the livestock sale. Mm-hmm. We tried to take a picture. I'm going to say we try because it hasn't been executed yet. We try to take a picture of every championship animal and their buyer, and that credits the animal, that credits the owner, the young owner, and that credits, of course, the buyer, who usually steps up and gives great prices for those animals and for the attendant publicity that comes with it and the goodwill. So all that this week. Then next week, we segue into the Vinton County Junior Fair. That's what we do here at Total Media because we cover Vinton County as well as Jackson County.
That's right. As one ends, the next one starts. You have to keep going.
That's right. You have to keep going. You're absolutely right. Stay on that horse.
That's
right. You can understand that. But the Vinton County Junior Fair, the full fair will start on Monday. Everything will be open, but there will be some activities this weekend. For instance, the Junior Fair Queens Contest will be on Saturday evening. It will be at the Terry Fout stage. That's their main stage at Vinton County. If the weather's real bad, they could take it inside to a school for comfort.
Sure.
But some of the contestants, the Queen contestants are Cassidy King, Shaylin Holiday, Lexi Kempton, and Lakota Mace. There are also candidates for the grade level attendants, 7th and 8th grade attendant, fifth and sixth grade attendant, third and fourth grade attendant. All those different categories will be part of the Queen's contest / pageant on Saturday evening, and those girls will reign over the remainder of the fair. And we'll talk more about the Benton County Junior Fair next week, but the schedule runs through the following Saturday, which I believe would be Saturday, July the 31st. They also have their livestock auction on Friday evening.
That's right.
All right. At the Benton County Junior Fair, there is no live entertainment to speak of, but they also have a bunch of thrill shows, including a demolition derby as well. A lot is happening at what they call the Speed Pit there in Benton County. And at Benton County this year, they have been able to make some improvements to the fairgrounds as well. In preparation for the 2001 Benton County Junior Fair, there's been improvements at the Fern Kruger building. It's been reconditioned, painted, and a new floor has been put down. And at the Fern Kruger building, that is kind of like the main building there at the fair. And there you see how it looks there before all the activity next week. You can see it looks very
the calm
nice.
before the storm.
Right. Freshly painted and a new floor in there. Also, one of the big concession buildings, it used to be a 4-H stand. Now it's called the Mullins Pizza Building because a local entrepreneur who runs a pizza shop in MacArthur, he actually has a big concession stand there at the fair. And about everything that he sells in town, he'll sell at the fair. So it's one of the big concession stands there. And J.C. Mullins wants the fairgrounds to look good, wants his stand to look good, and you can see what they have done with it. Improvements have been made to it as well. It's got a fresh coat of paint there. It's now got both indoor and outdoor seating, and the indoor seating, I believe, is air conditioned, which can be really important if you're eating that slab of pizza and it's 90 degrees. So, all that coming next week, the Benton County Junior Fair. Got some big news coming a little bit later today. We're going to have the troops out for it. I've got Phil Buffington, our associate editor, James Hamilton will both be out later on this morning. We're going to be at the former Meridian property. That's where, of course, the Meridian plant used to be. Closed. They have since
the Goodyear plant.
Right. Before
if
that,
you're an old timer like us,
Goodyear,
right?
Cambridge, and then Meridian, if you want to name them all. Of course, after they tore the plant down, they found out there was some yucky stuff in the ground.
Icky stuff.
Right. They had to get that out. They have done that. And this morning, Jackson County Economic Development Partnership, Sam Brady, will have some news about how that property is coming along, and that they consider it a prime location for industry because it has it's in a great location.
Yes.
Transportation-wise, it has, of course, all the utilities already.
Yep.
A big space to work with there, and somebody could build whatever they wanted there, or somebody could build something and put it there and then try to market it. But anyway, he will be giving an update on that property, and we understand it will be positive. I don't think that there's a tenant yet, but they're going to be talking about they're moving towards where they feel they'll have a better chance to get one.
Okay.
So that will come this morning, and we'll be covering that. Phil Buffington from the newspaper. James Hamilton will be there to do some video coverage.
Good. Look forward to that.
Then later in the day, some more news that's noteworthy. We're going to be on that story too at the Parks Edge Event Center here in Jackson from 6 to 8 p.m. There's going to be a presentation by a company called First Sun, let me get this right here. It's called Sun Energy One.
Mm-hmm.
Sun Energy One. And they're a company out of North Carolina. And you know what they want to do? They want to build a solar generation plant in Bloomfield Township.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be a thing that if it goes through, there would be a lot of construction jobs. They may not all be local, but anyway, there'll be lots of construction activity and all the economic development that goes with it. When the pipeline people are in.
Well, that's what I'm kind of likening it to in my head, thinking about that.
Yeah, the jobs are really the period when it's being constructed. Sam Brady, who also, of course, is involved in this project, he estimated to me there might be 20 permanent jobs afterwards, but there are 20 new jobs, and my guess is that there would be good ones. But what Sun Energy One wants to do is to build a solar generation plant and then sell that solar power to their customers, who may not be local, they may be all over the place. But solar power seems to be an in thing right now.
Yeah.
There's projects and proposals all over the state of Ohio. There's one that's about to be built in Vinton County.
I was going to say there's one in Vinton County coming, isn't there?
They're supposed to start construction.
Okay.
It got delayed on that for some reason, but they had an announcement earlier. They got some state tax credits. They believe that they'll be able to go forward. In addition to the economic development that will come with construction and then with the permanent jobs, the other thing is that there is tax revenue that comes. It may not be straight what we call property tax revenue, but the utility company negotiates with the taxing entities that are affected, where it is. And there is extra revenue that comes in. I'm not exactly sure how you categorize it, but in Vinton County, I know that's set up. But the big fiscal winners will be the Oak Hill Union Local School District, because Bloomfield Township is
yes.
in the Oak Hill School District, and also, of course, Bloomfield Township. I think the county will probably get a little bit of a cut because, that's part of the county as well. But it's kind of mirrors the way the distribution is on the property taxes, the real estate that we pay. But it's different than that. It's there.
Okay.
You negotiate somehow on the number of megawatts that are produced by the plant, because that's supposed to reflect the revenue that the company will get from it. But this is supposed to be a fairly big plant by one of the larger solar generation companies in the country.
So, there's a meeting tonight. What is the point of the meeting?
Okay. From what I understand, it will be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and it will be kind of like an open forum type thing. People can come and ask questions. There'll probably be some handout information. May be some displays. People from First Energy One will be there.
Okay.
I think that Sam Brady will be there. I think maybe some local officials will be there, the county commissioners. I know that they are knowledgeable about this project. The township trustees, of course, and they can ask. They can provide information and answers probably to whatever anybody would want. And who would be interested in this? There could be lots of public interest, but certainly landowners in that area.
Well, I was going to say, I could see where there would be concerns of what's this thing going to look like? If they build this next to my house, is it going to be an eyesore? Or, again, how much money is it bringing into us? These all are questions that need to be answered.
Well,
that's what the point of this meeting is tonight.
Right. In Bloomfield Township, it's a big township. The location is supposed to be the south side of Luther Jones Road, across from the Sherman Ranch. Now, Luther Jones Road is on the map. The Sherman Ranch, I'm not sure about that, but if you look on the map and see Luther Jones Road, it's not that long of a road. You can see about where it is. But I'm told that it's on reclaimed strip mine land principally.
So, a lot of the reclaimed strip mine land, I don't want to say is useless, but it's hard to build on, or you're not building a subdivision on it, or
it looks better and it's usable, but it probably could not be used for anything.
This would probably be a good use for it.
Right, exactly.
The land. Okay.
Right. So that is tonight from 6 to 8.
This is Park's Edge, right?
At Park's Edge. I don't think that this is a foregone conclusion. This is part of the process to make it happen.
Listen, I had the chance to meet a couple of the fellas involved in this the other day, and they're a hoot. So they're fun. Okay. So they're very nice, and they're all very different. So you if nothing else, go there and just meet the people involved and talk to them.
Well, this is your opportunity to do that. It is branded as a public meeting, to be honest. I didn't hear anything about it until earlier in the week.
Yeah.
But this is your opportunity. There may be others as well. I think ultimately it will have to receive state regulatory approval from the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio. So we'll see what happens there. Also, big news from the village of Colton. For years, in recent years anyway, they have needed a sanitary sewer system inside the village. Okay. Not all that many years ago, they got a new sewer plant, but the way the system was set up, they continued, individual customers inside the village continued to use septic tanks. They had a modern plant, but they didn't have the sanitary sewer lines going to their home to the plant. That's just the way that it was set up. They did have sewer lines out to Glenroy.
Well, what the heck was the point of the plant then?
Well, I'm not exactly sure. It's been some time ago.
Have a
but-
fancy plant, we just can't use it.
But they are getting money. They've got money from different sources to be able to do this project. Mayor Kim Milliken is very committed to seeing it done. They signed
That's game-changing
They signed a
stuff.
contract with an Ironton company, the Southern Ohio Trenching Company of Ironton, for the first phase of the sanitary sewer line project. And all this comes on the heels of when they're finishing up the neighborhood revitalization grant project, which is different, but it all kind of ties in together in infrastructure improvements in Colton. There, if you're watching there on Facebook, on Monitor, that's Mayor Kim Milliken. She's on the right looking at the paperwork, and that is Gary Silcott, one of their consultants who is working with them on this sanitary sewer project. On the business side, Jennifer, we can look for the new Dollar General store on Bridge Street. You've noticed it's coming along.
Man, they built that sucker fast, didn't they?
They did. Once they got going and they got past all the gas line issues and whatever, they put it up fast. I have been told by the new manager that there will be a soft opening there one day next week. And
Already?
yes, a soft opening where they don't do a lot of promotion or advertising or ribbon cutting or anything like that. They will do a ribbon cutting and a grand opening celebration later where they'll do some giveaways and all like that, and they'll be beating the drums. That'll come a little later, probably within a month.
Okay.
But this will give the staff and the store a chance to kind of get going as quietly as possible. I know a lot of people have talked about it. A lot of people say, well, why do we have two Dollar General stores? And you may have seen some of the debate both ways on that. But I guarantee you, down in North Carolina or Tennessee or wherever that corporate office is, they believe that it will work.
They
or they wouldn't be
absolutely
doing it.
do. And boy, if there's anything that has set the Facebook ablaze, it's been this Dollar General store, hasn't it?
Yes,
The why and the what the heck's going on and all of that.
right. Well, anyway, it's another place of business for the people in that neighborhood. Not everybody is able to drive a car.
Correct.
Not everybody has a car, and so if you're in that neighborhood, you have another, or live close to that neighborhood, you have another option there.
Yep.
So we'll see how that works out. All right. Also, we want to tell you that the Midnight at Moonville is a go this year. That is a big deal in Benton County.
So fun.
You've been there.
I
Right?
have. I've been to Moonville. I have not been to that, but I've talked to many people that have been.
Right. Well, Moonville is considered to be reputedly haunted.
Yes.
Because of different things that have happened back in the bygone years when there was a Moonville, a real Moonville with people there. It was kind of a place on a railroad line where there was actually a stop and a station.
It was a little town within.
People live there. There's a big tunnel there. That's where supposedly all the haunted stuff is.
Yes.
And that is the graphic to promote the 5th Annual Midnight at Moonville. It will be Saturday, October the 9th, of course, in line with the Halloween season. But a lot of people come. It's a local thing, but it's also a regional thing, kind of a party thing too.
It is.
They've got their entertainment. They have storytellers come. Of course, they have food and whatever. And if you're into all that paranormal stuff, you go to get your fix.
There's so much lore, I guess, around the Moonville Tunnel, and I actually went there with Jenna's parents the other day, and I'd never been there before, and so we stopped by there. It was during the day though, so I felt safe.
Okay, all right.
I only saw a couple ghosts.
Would you go there by yourself at night?
To Moonville?
Yes,
By myself?
by yourself.
At night?
Right.
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't think I would either.
And I'll tell you, it's way out there. Like you can't get there from here. It's a really windy, long back road with no cell service.
Right.
So it's a little bit intimidating.
Right. It
to get
is.
there.
It is. And if you don't know where Moonville is, it is in northern Benton County, near the village of Zaleski, which is up there
yes.
close to Lake Hope State Park. You see the signs to Moonville. Like I said, I've never gone down that road, but it's not an easy place to get to, and that's probably part of the charm.
Yeah, you're right, and it's a little small road with it's rough driving. Let's put
Exactly.
it that way. So, but yeah, I think that would be a really fun event to attend. There's so much history out there, and so much that you could learn by probably visiting out there that day.
Right, exactly. Well, anyway, I'm going to exit stage right here. I know we have a video presentation. You got to tell
do.
everybody about the positive weather forecast that we have for the rest
That's
of the fair.
right.
So-
I mean, could the fair board? I don't know who ordered the weather this year, but they did a fantastic job.
And unfortunately, that is one of the uncontrollables for the fair board. It's so
Yes.
frustrating that you set the table and then, you have a bad storm. It's
Yep.
stinking hot. I'm not going to go out in this.
Right.
Unfortunately,
Oh,
that's
it's been
how some
picture
decisions are
perfect.
made on attendance.
This year.
All right. Well, very good then. I thank you, Jennifer.
Well, thank you, Pete. Much appreciated.
All right.
Get down there and get some cracking on some more news.
All right. And go tell those horse contestants how it's done on Saturday.
I should go do that.
Right. Get,
No, you know what? It
get
would
your
be.
crown out.
I should be like, I'm a former hearse queen. You all ain't doing that right now. I'm just kidding. No, it would be really fun to watch and not have to participate. The nerves wouldn't be there. So it would actually be relaxing to go
I
watch.
can understand.
That would be fun. All right. Thank you, Pete. And Pete's Morning News Update brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. If you are looking to buy or sell or have any real estate needs, please give Nia a call, 740-418-4135, and she'll be working hard for you. All right, let's get to the Jackson County Fair, end of the Jackson County Fair weather forecast, and look at that. Nothing but sunshine and pretty good temperatures all the way through the weekend, and then to start your Benton County Fair next week, looking pretty good for that too. Mostly sunny today, absolutely gorgeous, highs of 82 degrees. Doesn't get much better than that for the fair. For tonight, mostly clear, lows around 57. Tomorrow on Friday, mostly sunny, highs of 85. And then Saturday for the Bang 'em Up Derby, mostly sunny, highs around 89 degrees. So yeah, it is looking absolutely fantastic for this year's Jackson County Fair. Hey, I hope you got out to see our good friend Jess sing last night. I saw some live videos on Facebook. Looks like she was having a blast. There she is, having a good time up there. And when I tuned in, she was singing some Dolly Parton. So I thought that was wonderful because she and I share a love for Dolly. And hope that you got out there and had some fun last night at the fair. All right, we do have a video from Mrs. Mansion, and James went up there yesterday and got to do and got to participate kind of in her presentation and whatnot. So you have that ready, Jenna? Okay, we're gonna get to that, and then we'll see you on the other side of it.
Many residents in Richland and Jackson Township in Benton County are without safe, reliable water in their homes and are resorting to hauling water from vending stations like this one off U.S. Highway 50 near MacArthur. On Wednesday morning, recently appointed Appalachian Regional Commission federal co-chair Gail Manchin visited the water station as part of a tour of the entire region that the ARC represents, which encompasses 420 counties in 13 states. Manchin is also the wife of United States Senator and former West Virginia Governor Joe Manchin, who represents an important swing vote in the Senate.
One of the projects, many projects that the Appalachian Regional Commissions help support are water projects. Unfortunately, in the 21st century, you wouldn't think that we would be talking about drinking water in homes and having that accessibility. But unfortunately, throughout the Appalachian region, not just in Ohio, but throughout the entire Appalachian 13 states, there are counties and homes that in this day and age do not have running water. And that means people have to be responsible for trying to get somewhere to get water. Now, obviously, the answer is to run water lines to people's homes. But in the midst of all that, the water station, like we're seeing here today, is one stopgap. So instead of having to drive 40 miles one way to get water, water stations like this provide the resource that you only have to drive 7 miles to get water. And so you have companies that pop up, just like the truck that's filling up now. This was a gentleman that thought he would just do this as a part-time job. And now he has hired 3 more trucks, and it's a daily business because there's that many people still without running water in this area. And so, as I said, this is a great stopgap. This is better than driving 40 miles. But the answer is that we need to be sure that people, all of our homes, have running water. The people in this area are doing a wonderful job. They're mapping all of their water lines, all of the water systems. Where's the water coming from? Where do the lines run? And then you look to see which water line is going to be the most efficient one to tap into to provide water to a group of homes. So they're doing that, and then you price out, well, what would that project cost? And then you start writing grants, you appeal to your local, state government for funding, and then ARC is another partner that can come in with some matching dollars to help some of those projects become a reality. So it's a step by step, but we do need to, these are things that need to be addressed. And the president has been very good in realizing that this is a type of infrastructure that needs addressed, and he has been putting more money out that will come into counties and communities. But I think in many cases, people just aren't aware. If you have running water in your home, your assumption is that everyone has running water in their home. And so I think part of the problem and part of the solution is making sure that people out there know that this continues to be a problem in our rural areas, and it's a problem that needs to be addressed.
This project is actually about 6 years old. It was established to provide a temporary solution to folks in this area that need safe, reliable water. And because the federal co-chair, Dr. Manchin, was coming through, we wanted to show her an example of what ARC funding had done for Vinton County recently. And we also talked a bit in an earlier meeting about, again, how we hope that water vending stations become obsolete, or if nothing else, they're only for folks to get water to fill up their swimming pool. We would love to be able to extend water lines to every resident that needs them or wants them.
The quest for clean water for Vinton County has been with my family for 21 years, and that was the first time that we moved here. I married a local lady, and we bought a home here 21 years ago, and there was a shallow dug well outside, and we found that it was full of sediment and sludge and probably strip mine runoff, and in essence, it ruined our water distribution system in our home. And after we replaced that, we did not dig. We drilled a new well that was in excess of 200 feet. The only issue with that is we still have the same issues. We still have the mine runoff. We still have the sediment. The big issue here is that the quality of life of the residents here. There are a lot who are less fortunate than I am, and they've been here for generations, and they deal with the same water problems day after day after day. As we've seen here today, they haul water sometimes 2 and 3 times a week. It's great that it's available, but it's an inconvenience that other people in the county don't have to tolerate. It's frustrating to see that standards of living are seemingly ignored when we talk about utilities and public services and things of that nature, that people have to live the way they do when it comes down to having usable, clean water in their homes.
$50,000. We have a little strip in I think it's Eagle Township, actually a Pretty Run Road project. $50,000 would put water to 9 homes there in just a short stretch, and that would be Ross County Water doing that project. Around $50,000 would give those folks water. I just think it's sad that all of the COVID money that come down was handed down. You was not allowed to use $1 of that to put pipe in the ground to help families get water, get the water into their homes. We could use it for about anything else, you know. I think from the President of the United States all the way down, everybody that was on the TV sets was screaming, "Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands." Kind of hard to wash your hands when you didn't have water.
In addition to the water issues, Manchin also discussed another big issue that the ARC is working on, bringing broadband internet to rural areas.
The broadband is the second big issue, I think, in terms of common throughout all of the Appalachian region, is that when the ARC was first started in 1965, it was about building highways through our states. And we'd have a good highway system, and we're still building highways. But the new highway system that is our challenge is broadband. And we have to build that highway system throughout the Appalachian region. So again, that last mile, every family, every child should have the same resources and support system that any child has, so that whether they go to school virtually, take online classes, a parent that works from home, you need to call a doctor for telehealth communication. You have to have broadband to do any of that, and every home should have that capability. You know, it absolutely, I feel like that I probably, without knowing it, have been preparing my whole life to do this job. So I'm very proud to be in this position, very proud to represent the Appalachian Regional Commission, and very proud to be from Appalachia.
All right, well, there you go. And thank you to James, who's over here. He did that video yesterday and worked very, very hard on it. It's amazing and very informative on some of the struggles and some of the things to look forward to there in Vinton County. The fact that people, don't have water is wild, and maybe we can get headed in that right direction there. All right, it's about time to get out of here for the day. I want to thank Pete for stopping up by, James for the awesome video. But before we get out of here, did want to thank, our friends at the fair. And also, don't forget that there's a lot going on at the fair tonight, where they actually have, let's go over, just so I don't mess it up. Today at the fair is the poultry, so the chickens, and the hogs later this afternoon. The rides will open from 5 to 11. And also the featured entertainment tonight is the OMTPA truck and tractor pull. And I'm just going to tell you, if you've never been to one of those, they are amazing. The tractors that these people, I mean, there's ones with jet engines and all kind of crazy stuff. It just blows your mind. So anyway, if you haven't been up to the fair, great day to check it out. The weather is going to be absolutely gorgeous, 82 degrees today. So there's no reason for you not to get up there. All right, well, got to get out of here for the day. We hope that you'll join us tomorrow on Friday, and we'll be back with some more fun stuff. So until then, enjoy the rest of your beautiful day, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.